Guys, watch this video to the end and then let me get your thoughts in the comment section, because right now Atiku, I don't think Atiku stand any chance in removing Tinubu in the next election, because people are not going to vote him. Everybody is supporting P2B. Everybody, both in the north and the south, they are all supporting P2B. But watch the video to the end. Let me get your views in the comment section.
Southern presidency for 8 years, for me, sacrosanct. It's something that cannot be jeopardized. It's something that must be abided by. And so for any serious opposition that wants to challenge the incumbent president, Ahmed Bola Tinubu, who is from the south, that such a party, it will be in its own interest to field a southern candidate. And since an aspirant like Peter Obi has come out to say clearly and in bold relief that I will run for just one term because I also respect zoning. And he didn't just say it, he made a proposition to the coalition he's just joined, the ADC, in that respect. And he has also granted an interview where he was seen in colors, saying, I will run for only one term. And one term is enough for me to reposition the country. I may not achieve everything I want to achieve, but I'm willing to sacrifice my privilege and right in the interest of national unity, because I believe that by 2031, the presidency should be returning for the North. That was quite thoughtful. That was quite ingenious of him. That was quite patriotic, if you ask me, to have stated this clearly. Meaning, I believe I will run, but I'm not unaware of the peculiarity of the power dynamics in Nigeria. So I'm not going to live in denial of that. So I'm stating it often that I want to run, but I will run for only one time if given the opportunity. So I want to put that the ADC, if they are serious about taking power from the president, must. If this story is, I don't know how true this story is, but this is something for them to pick up and read. And this, for me, what you see on the front page of the pilot, somehow is in sync with public perception, public opinion, and the expectation from this party, particularly as it concerns zoning or the presidency. Now, as for Obi as a candidate, Obi again has thrust himself ahead of others, going to the 2027 race by his principal stance on a number of issues. You see, I've had reasons on this program to criticize Obi severally for not being very clear on alternatives he's offering to the incumbent administration. But this last interview over the weekend, which in my consideration was one of his best ever, has lightened up the mood in this country, has sort of restored some level of hope, because in that interview, he was able to go a notch higher in providing some level of philosophical clarity as to how and how he intends to tackle Nigeria's myriad of existential problems. Apart from addressing the basic issues of integrity, character, in governance, and frugal management of resources, there was something remarkable about his interview on two fronts. He stand on the removal of petroleum subsidy, which have insisted that if anybody must challenge Tinubu, you must come with a clear-cut authority to what he has done. For the first time, I think Obi too, like I've always said, that 2 years enough for both those in power and those in the opposition to have taken time to reflect on the effect of subsidy removal and come up with a change of position. He seems to have adopted that because, for the first time, Obi said he would first tackle the corruption associated with subsidy to ascertain what exactly Nigeria is paying for in subsidy before taking the next step. This is like a strong shift from his orthodoxy, or the position of orthodoxy of it has to go because subsidy in itself is bad. I was pleasantly surprised, and it's a welcome development because we need alternatives in the polity. I'm speaking about this morning because it's an alternative is offered now.
Yes.
So look, why not look at the corruption, and then going forward, let us now know what is it that we are really paying for, and probably if it does not hurt the system, then we can continue. Something like that. I expect him in the coming days to also sharpen this, direction he's taking now, sharpen it and make it a policy statement. Now, there's something remarkable you also talked about. Borrowing. That is going to borrow, but to invest in businesses. Ladies and gentlemen, you should have, definitely I would have been excited. I have always said that government has to do business. And that if government must borrow, it has to be to do business. And when they asked him what kind of business will he invest in, he said agricultural production across the value chains. because they believe that agriculture will yield for Nigeria much more than oil is doing. So it means he himself is considering the fact that government must have a role to play in the means of production. These are the kind of alternatives we want to see. So we can have decent conversations here going forward. And let me tell you, what this one has done is going to put pressure on the incumbent administration to also look at their own policy, their own stand, and begin to adjust accordingly. And that is the beauty of democracy. So at the end of the day, we have qualitative discourse in the polity. It begins to yield results for the people. That's what democracy is all about.
Absolutely.
And so he has risen up to the challenge of being the true voice of opposition, something we've been yearning for since 2023.
So what do you make to say? What do you say to people that say, well, look, fine, it all sounds great, like you put it, but that he has probably shot himself in the foot by leaving the Labour Party to the ADC, where he's up against serious political heavyweights?
Okay, according to him, he's not left the Labour Party. You see, this is like a special arrangement. He said he's still a member of the Labour Party. He made it clear. But this ADC is like a coming together of people from all across political parties who have joined ADC fully for the purpose of teaming up to challenge incumbency. Because the last experience was that because the position was splintered along 3 major axes, it was easy for the president to have taken the day after 8 years of underperformance by the APC. So maybe they're trying to come together to see if they can find a common ground. But I'm sure he's holding on to his Labour Party because if for any reason a common ground is not found, he's going to run along with his own party and see if he can make the necessary impact. So
he's not trying to eat his cake and have it by doing that?
No, I think he's just being strategic, really, at this stage. I think there's nothing wrong with what he's done yet. Of course, you know me. I wouldn't say it the way it is not. I think for now, it is still, they're trying to form an alliance. There's nothing wrong with an alliance in a democracy. Most multi-party democracies usually come through an alliance to upstage democratically, those that are in government. There's nothing wrong. Macron, for example, is a product of a broad-based alliance. President Lula da Silva came into power the first time and even now through a broad coalition. In fact, it might interest you that the ANC of South Africa, as you see, is a coalition of political parties, including COSATU, the labor organization in that country. So there's nothing wrong with the coalition.
But you talked about putting your best foot forward,
yes,
and also looking at the reading the room,
yes,
of course. And I bring this because of the ADC stance. They're saying ADC shuns zoning, throws presidential ticket open to North, South, Atiku, P2B, Amechi may clash at primaries. Governorship, senatorial, other tickets all open to all aspirants, daily asset. But when you listen to that, do you think that's a coalition that understands the reading of the room?
No. This other headline is very disturbing. And by now, I should have expected that. The coalition should have known, again, that time and events throw up certain kind of peculiarities in both aspirations, candidacy, and political party management. If you look at the ADC has gained traction, surprisingly, not because of in spite of the assemblage of men of yesteryears that are largely uninspiring, people that you can't even follow, you can't even land on behind, including, of course, the chairman of the ADC, the former Senate President David Mark, including the pro-tem national secretary. When you look at the ADC and the structure as currently constituted, it's uninspiring. You could as well go to sleep and say, let them slug it out by themselves, and whoever defeats the other, so be it. But something changed when Obi stepped into that hall that day and identified with the coalition. The support the coalition is getting today, which is actually substantial, I must tell you this, surprisingly. I didn't give this coalition a chance. But I can tell that from the feelers we're getting on the ground, a lot of people are now gravitating towards the coalition and are waiting with bated breath to see what they will come up with in the next.
When you say people, who are we referring to?
Nigerians, who have been yearning for an alternative to what they have currently. There was this fear that Nigeria was sliding to a one-party state because of the demands of the PDP and the disarray in the Labour Party. So this is like a halt to that slide, and Nigerians have welcomed it. But I'm saying Nigerians have welcomed this coalition or the ADC because of the presence of Mr. Peter Obi there. Somebody they consider as different. And somebody whose conduct really is a bit different from the norm, really. I mean, let's give it to him. Now, I would expect that this party will leverage on that and take advantage of that to dig into the plow of people power. to harvest people power on their side. Because what a political party needs in opposition is people power. With people power, it will defy all forms of electoral subterfuge instigated by the incumbents. Because the people themselves that are going to send to do this are with the opposition because of the vast, armory of people power. So I'm expecting them to utilize the golden ball opposition of some sort. The same way, the same coalition makes of President Muhammadu Buhari to come to power. And most importantly, let me say this clearly. The ADC must understand that Nigerians across board will not want a northern presidency to abridge down of the south before 2031.
I think someone agrees with you. I mean, from our social media, Michael Efedi says if Atiku emerges ADC presidential candidate, they will lose woefully. He also says Atiku should rest and back P2B.
Look, let me say this ahead without any fear of contradiction going to the field. I said it before the PDP elections too. By this time, Atiku should become a statesman. Atiku should mobilize the North within his own sphere of influence to back Peter Obi for the ticket of the South for two reasons. Apart from the part that Peter Obi is popular ahead of even the convention of ADC, very popular. Peter Obi comes from the Southeast, a zone that has shown Atiku enormous love and the PDP by extension since 1998. A zone that the party that it has supported since 1998 consistently, but have not been given that opportunity to present a presidential candidate on that platform. I think it's an embarrassment on the PDP. And since Atiku has moved to the ADC, he should not go in there and ensure this to redeem his own image. What I cannot say here today is I don't know if Atiku will lose if he runs. The last time I predicted that he was going to lose if he runs. I don't know whether he will lose, but there's something about what is called Pyrrhic victory. You should not want to grow up in a country that is dominated by the Muslim North, neither do want to grow up in one that is dominated by the Christian South. There has to be equity, fairness, and justice because there must be a Nigeria if Atiku can rule over it.
Because right now, nobody is talking about Atiku. Everybody is talking about how P2B is the best candidate, how P2B is competent, how he's honest, how he has integrity, how he's the blessed man sent from God to bless Nigeria. Because this man has impacted lives more than the current government. Google it anywhere. This man I'm talking about, P2B, has given scholarship to students, have helped to renovate schools, have given money to nursing schools, have invested more in education and health sector than the current government. And P2B have been hammering on this issue of we need to invest in education and health sector. That's the only way we can be talking about a better Nigeria and a better economy. Because if these sectors are not working, there's nothing like a better economy. So all these people that are building road, building this one, if you are not investing in the right thing, you are investing wrongly. I'm not saying that building road is not good, but there are things that are meant to be invested in first of all before you can be talking about investing in roads. Because if someone is not moving freely because of insecurity, then there is no need for the road. That's just as simple as it is. Because people need to be secured first before you can be talking about building projects and about building roads or infrastructures. First of all, make sure you secure the people you are leading first. This is what P2B have profiled Nigeria. This is my plan. This is my blueprint. Let's make this thing work. But Atiku will say no, that he wants to be the flag bearer, knowing fully that he stand no chance. This man have contested for 6 good times, and guess what? He lost those 6 good times. That means if he contests again, he might still lose. Because everybody in Nigeria is projecting P2B. One is because what he has done in Anambra State. 2 is because what he's doing now. What can we say that Atiku have done in Nigeria as a whole? What that one thing we can say that Atiku have done in Nigeria? We cannot say anything because he has done nothing in Nigeria. So that's why more people are supporting P2B. It's as if P2B is everywhere because of these things he have done. This man went for an education. I saw a video yesterday. He was the one sharing food. He was the one doing usher. Like he was the usher in the event. P2B was the one carrying food to go and give to people, to guests. Someone that wants to become president. He stooped so low to start sharing food. To tell you how humble he is. Even when he was governor, when he was in power, he was still humble. Tell me what more do we need? By the way, guys, let me get your own views and your thoughts in the comment section. I'll be guys in my next video.